Morning, Sky.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Davian.
Morning.
Morning. Thanks for adding me. I appreciate
Of course.
it. Hi, Christy.
Hi.
So Manny is not going to be able to join us. He has something coming up, but I will be the behind the scenes monitoring any questions. Excited? It froze. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, Christine.
We have about 4 minutes, but I want to do a really quick check. If you all click on your chat feature and where it says two, I just want to make sure, do you see where it says, it should say host the panelists, but also do you have an option to chat with everyone?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm off camera. We fixed that from last time. All right, so we're
All
good.
right.
So you want us to choose everyone?
Yes, choose everyone because people are going to ask questions. So we have designated moderators. However, with that being said, attendees are going to ask questions throughout the chat. So if you're able to answer, by all means, answer those questions.
Dave, I think Lydia just asked for the Zoom link to be sent to her again, please. Kindly.
I've got it right here if you want me to send it.
We can't hear you, Dave, just in case you were saying something.
Sorry, I was on mute. Does Lydia want an invitation to attend as a panelist or just as a guest?
I sent her the one we're using. I think she made it sound like she wants it for herself.
Gotcha.
Yes, I believe she is part of the panel.
She is. I'll resend it to her. I'll
Thank
resend
you.
her.
Thank you so much. Hi, Carrie Ann.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
How
I
are
didn't
you
say
all?
hi.
Sure. We're doing well, thank you. I didn't say hi to Christy and Christine. I know Sylvia and Pal. Hi, Pal. I can't see.
Christine, your hair looks lovely today.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
So thanks for joining us, everyone, to our clinicians, our leaders, clinical leaders. I'm Sheila Perez, and I'll be our host today. I'm from Talent Acquisition. I know I've worked with some of you already before to fill your positions. So, and we do have Charlotte. Hi, good morning, Charlotte. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Lydia.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are just starting to have our participants join us. Ololade, we are not able to hear you, but I believe, Dave, that's okay, correct? Please go ahead and just ask your questions on the chat, okay, Ololade? And hi, Julie. Give it about 1 more minute and we'll go ahead and start our panel discussion this morning. So for all of our participants who are starting to join us, thank you for being here today. Oh. Good morning, Eric. And sorry to hear that, Ololade, that you're having some audio problems, but that's completely okay. As I mentioned, you can go ahead and just ask on our chat if you need to, and we'd be happy to answer those questions for you. Good morning, Carrie and Dolores. Excellent. So it is just about 10 o'clock, and Dave and Sky, may I go ahead and start this at this point?
Yes, you're good to go. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Sky. So good morning, everyone, especially to our, of course, our nurse leaders and clinicians who are here with us today, but especially to our participants who are joining us ahead of our hiring event at East Orlando on Monday. So my name is Sheila, and I am from the AdventHealth Talent Acquisition team. I will be your host today, and it's wonderful that you've joined us because we do have our clinical experts here, our clinical leaders, to answer any of your questions. And in the event that you have questions to our participants, please go ahead and type them in the chat. And we also have our moderators who are Dave and Sky, who will be helping us with your questions. We aim to answer all of your questions today as much as we can. And if not, we can always answer them in chat. And also we have some links to share with you and that you can not only use for yourself, but also share with your friends who are also RNs or family members who may be interested in joining our AdventHealth family. So to our viewers, thank you again for joining us. And this is ahead of our East Orlando RN hiring event that's going to be this coming Monday, October 24th, during which RNs can interview for and be offered positions on the spot with sign-on bonuses of up to $20,000. We are very excited to see you all at the event. But until then, we are here for a treat. We're in for a treat because we are joined by our clinical leaders who will be answering your questions. So this morning, I believe we do have Carrie Ann, Julie, Christy, Lydia, Anuradha, and Christine. To our leaders, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourselves very quickly. And I do see, I'm looking at our view here, we do have Christy first, Christy, and then Christine, Carrie Ann, Christy, and then Julie after that. And I believe Anuradha also, if you'd like to introduce yourself after that. Hi, Christy.
Good morning. My name is Christy Shepard, and I'm the Director of Emergency Services for East Orlando, Waterford Lakes, and Lake Nona.
Excellent. Thanks, Christy. Christine.
Hi, good morning. So I'm Christine Cox. I am the Operations Manager for East Orlando over MRI, CT, X-ray, the support areas, Mammo, DEXA, and then our freestanding ERs as well for X-ray, CT, and ultrasound.
Excellent. Thank you. Carrie Ann.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Carrie Ann Farrow. I'm the Director of Critical Care Services. I have some other departments too, and I'm really glad to be here to answer any questions that you have today.
Wonderful. And Christy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Lydia, I think
Oh, I'm
it's
so
you.
sorry.
You're
Lydia,
showing
my
up as
apologies,
Christy,
Lydia.
yes.
I'm so sorry.
Because I mailed her
My
my
apologies, Christy.
Lydia.
Lydia.
No worries at all. Good morning, everybody. My name is Lydia Hendricks. I am the Chief Nursing Officer here at AdventHealth East Orlando. Welcome to everyone.
Thank you, Lydia. And Julie.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Julie Prang, and I am the Director of Nursing for Intermediate Care and Observation.
Wonderful. And Anuradha. We can't hear you, Anuradha.
The mic was off, sorry. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anuradha. You can call me Anu. I know it's hard to say the whole thing. Yeah, I'm the educator at ICU, and I'm covering ICC and dialysis at East Orlando, and I'm happy to be here and welcome everyone.
Excellent, Anuradha. That is a beautiful name. Thank you for letting us have a shortcut if we need to.
Yeah, no,
But that's
thank you.
Anuradha is a gorgeous name. So thank you all again for joining us this morning. As I mentioned, we have our participants just starting to sign up and trickling in, but we also are recording this so that we can share this on all of our social media sites, just so we can reach a lot of candidates and also their families and friends who may be RNs who are interested in joining us. So that there will be questions as well, and I'll just go ahead and have those questions ready for all of you. But the first one that we always like to start with to our clinical leaders is what truly brought you here to AdventHealth? Because as we know here at AdventHealth, when we hear the stories of every single nurse that we have on our team, and not just clinicians, but also non-clinicians, the important thing or that we always hear is about what led us here to AdventHealth. And that's always God, it's his hand. And We all know that for our personal stories, we have that. And I know that our candidates out there who are RNs, who may be thinking about wanting to join Advent Health, they'd like to know what brought you to Advent Health. So we'll go ahead and start with Anuradha. That's all right.
There you go. Hi. Okay, so my story, let's see. So yes, I am new to, not new, I will say, but yes, I started my journey in US with Advent Health. I'm of course from India, and when I was given a chance to come and work here, I choose to work in Florida. And yes, Advent Health, I didn't know much about it beforehand, but yes, I did my research and I compared, of course, the organization with other organizations in the United States, and I felt the Ministry of Christ, it's probably my calling too. And I really like the mission and vision of the hospital. And yes, it's DNV accredited. I have worked previously in a hospital which was Joint Commission accredited. So some of the protocols, policies, I felt they were pretty much similar. I blend in easily. The team welcomed me with open hands. I started my career in CV ICU, and over the past 3 years, I feel I mean, I've been very, very lucky. And of course, from the support of Carrie Ann and Lydia, I'm here as educator of ICU, and I'm thriving. I feel like I'm doing a good job, and I cannot be thankful to Advent Health and the team who has recognized my potential and given me the opportunity to advance in my career, and also be able to share my knowledge, my experience with the fellow nurses and nurses who are coming along in the team.
That's
That's
wonderful,
all.
Anuradha. Yes, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing that with us. And Anuradha, that is very timely, of course, is because Advent Health always welcomes our incredibly talented international RNs, because we are blessed to have a TAP program, or it's called the Transition or Transcultural Assimilation Program, that we have especially for incredible international RNs like yourself. And thank you for sharing that testimony of what brought you to Advent Health, but also the support that you've received from your leaders. And that is definitely something that even for me and talent acquisition, I know and can say that that's something I feel. It's
Yes.
not something that we just hear or say, it's something that we feel from our leaders. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I do really quickly want to interrupt really quickly because we do have a question on our chat. It says, I'm from Sonia. Just curious, is this just for RN? So Sonia, yes, the RN hiring event that we have on Monday for East Orlando is just for RNs. However, if you have any questions, our strategy team will be happy to answer those questions. So go ahead and put them in the chat. And Sonia, we also recommend you to just go on our website, our career site, and to take a look at all the openings we may have and see what you may qualify for. Thank you for joining us today, Sonia. And yes, Shannon, indeed, this is for the East Orlando campus, our awesome East Orlando campus. So next we do have Julie. Julie, would you like to go ahead and share with us what brought you to Advent Health?
I would love to. So I've actually worked here and worked at this campus for about 22 years. I started as a tech while I was going through nursing school. And I love to learn and grow. And I can tell you what's kept me here is the opportunity to do different things. I've worked med-surg, PCU, ICU. I've been a nurse manager of all different levels and a director. And also Advent Health has kept me here by always helping me to learn. So I was a 2-year nurse, and Advent Health helped me get my BSN, my MSN, and currently working towards my doctorate. So it's an amazing company, and I think I'll be here until I retire.
That's wonderful.
Which
Oh.
is a long time.
Yeah, what a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that, Julie. I know that we do have also who may not even be on the chat right now, but who may watch this video and this discussion, who are GNs, who are just perhaps even going to graduate soon and thinking about where do I want to start, or where do I want to build that sort of foundation for my career as a nurse. And that's great to hear. Thank you for sharing that. You were a tech before, and now you are heading into, I believe you are a director, Julie, is that correct? Yep. And working on your doctorate. That's incredible. That's one of those things to our participants. Another one of our benefits of being at Advent Health is that you will be encouraged to grow within your career path. And just like Julie, I can also speak to that Advent Health paid for my MBA praise God for that. I mean, I don't know what other employer will pay 100% for that. My husband works for another company, not a healthcare one, but I believe it's only a percentage for them. So I know that Advent Health has invested in me the way that they've invested in Julie and all of us in a way that no other company can. Thank you. And Lydia, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, Lydia, go ahead and please share with us what brought you to Advent Health.
Right, so I started back in the olden days, 1989.
Love it. Beautiful.
In 1989, I was a GN and joined the company and, you know, I've really never looked back. I think that what sets Advent Health apart is clearly the mission. And as you've heard from the others, it's caring for our patients and our community, but each other and our team. And the investment in really taking care of the whole person, you know, mind, body, and spirit really shows up. We actually really live the mission. It's not just a plaque on the wall. And so for myself, it's been a very rewarding career growing as Advent Health is growing. Lots of opportunity to advance your career in any direction you choose, quite frankly. So yeah, I went from a GN, I became a manager pretty quickly, got my master's degree, and I too am working on my doctorate degree. And so again, you know, to be at a place like Advent Health that supports you with furthering your education, that's no small benefit for those of you. And I know you know the price of education nowadays. That's significant. I think along the way, I've also taken advantage of our clinical ladder, our professional excellence program, which is a way you can grow and advance in your career on many different tracks in many different ways and actually get compensated for that growth, a significant percent on top of your base pay for every step of the ladder that you grow. So, you know, and aside from that, it just feels like a family, I would say. Again, I go back to we care for the patients, but equally we care for each other. And it is an unusual, special organization because of that.
Excellent. Thank you, Lydia. And I completely agree. I concur. And that's something that we feel not just in our specific campuses and our freestanding ERs and everything, but also within our corporate and everything in Advent Health. And for our participants who are watching and who may be sharing this with a family, of course, you may already know that our mission here at Advent Health is extending the healing ministry of Christ. And if you have done your research or not yet, that's something that we truly live out every day in what we do, as Lydia mentioned. It's not something that is just a plaque on the wall, as she mentioned, and it's something that you feel. And for me personally, that's what draws me every day. That's what helps me get through whatever challenge or whatever joys or celebration of success we may have. So for all those who are watching, that's something that's very, very important and that we hold dear to our heart. And that is our core at Advent Health. Carrie Ann, would you like to go ahead and share with us, please?
Yeah, I would love to. So really, I'm going to echo what everyone has said. I will say that Advent Health completed paying for my doctorate as I graduated with that in the summer. So I'm so proud of my fellow colleagues here that are pursuing that advanced degree also. But I think with me, it's really about culture, but it's about how we listen to our team. So I was so thrilled when I came about 18 months ago that we really listen to the frontline team. They're normally the ones that have great answers and have great ideas on how to give wonderful care and innovative ideas of how we can keep up with, research and evidence base. So knowing that we're here to remove barriers so they can give the best care that they can every day it's just so fulfilling. And the team here is great. I love the relationship that we have with all departments. I'm going to give Christy a shout out. The relationship between the emergency department and our inpatients and our critical care units leads to seamless care for our patients. And I think we all get out of bed every morning wanting to do the best. So when those barriers are removed and those relationships are in place, it's a joy to come to work. So I am so happy that this family welcomed me about 18 months ago. And I'm going to say what Julie said, I'm going to retire here.
Yes, praise God for that. Thank you so much, Carrie Ann. And Christine, would you like to go ahead and share with us what brought you to Advent Health?
Sure. So the mission actually brought me to Advent Health, but really the ability to be the very best part of somebody's worst day, whether it's the team member or whether it's a patient, that's really what matters. You know, it's the people and the patients. I'll echo Carrie Ann too. It's the culture here. It is family. East Orlando is very, very unique in the way that we care for each other and really listen to each other. The relationships between all of the areas, whether it's environmental service or the ED or nursing units, we all really work together, and that's very, very unique to this organization and to this campus.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Christine. Absolutely. Just like Christine and Carrie Ann mentioned, to our participants out there, East Orlando is just a vibrant, vibrant campus. And all of our different Advent Health campuses has their own special uniqueness about them. But East Orlando, for me personally, is actually my hospital, my Advent Health hospital, East Orlando, the campus. So I know how beautiful it is, not just on the outside, but also the team that serves in that campus is just a beautiful, beautiful team. And as I mentioned, I've been there with my father, unfortunately, for his health scare before in terms of the cardiac, and they treated him so well and they took care of him very well, as of course, my daughter when she was younger. She had this really quick accident. Thankfully, she was okay, but just the love that we felt when we went to the ED and when we went to observation, when they needed to observe her for a little bit, it was just a beautiful, beautiful experience. So as Christine and Carrie Ann said to our participants, East Orlando is a beautiful, beautiful campus. And Christy, would you like to go ahead and share what brought you to Advent Health?
Yeah, so I came over from Brevard County almost about 10 years ago, and I had several interviews set up. And then a recruiter called me and said, do you know John Baldwin? And I said, of course I know John Baldwin. I worked with him like 20 years ago. And so she sent me to East Orlando to have an interview. And I sat with John and we just talked about Advent Health in general, our mission, our vision, and everything that East Orlando represented. And after I was done talking to him, I canceled all my other interviews and I said, sign me up, I'm on board. And that was 9 years ago. So East Orlando I've worked for many organizations. Advent Health and East Orlando in particular are just unique. It's really kind of hard to put it into words, but the interdepartmental dynamics and the collaboration, and it's a community hospital that's very, very busy. We are one of the busiest EDs in Central Florida, but still manages to have that hometown family feel. I walk down the hallways and it's all eye contact and everyone's saying hello to each other, and it's not like that in every organization. So Advent Health East Orlando is just a very, very unique place. And it's very fostering to growth, as everyone was saying about their careers and how they've come up amongst the ranks. And it looks like I'm going to have to start my doctorate. I don't know what else to do at this point. I think that's my next step. And I'll obviously take advantage of the Advent Health tuition reimbursement benefits. So
absolutely. Thank you for that, Christy. Yep. So to our participants out there, as you've heard from all our clinical leaders, it's just East Orlando, Advent Health East Orlando is just a really wonderful community, and especially a great place for our GNs also to start in. As you know, our Advent Health organization is vast and wide, and it covers not just the United States, but also internationally. So you have a lot of room to just grow and develop into who you are, God has called you to be as an RN, as a clinician, or even as non-clinicians. So I wanted to our esteemed leaders here who are joining us today, I want to go ahead and ask our questions. So for our RNs who may be nervous about interviewing, who may be wondering, do I even qualify? Am I even the right person for this position perhaps? The number one question I wanted to ask is, and we'll go through one by one, if you'd like to go ahead and share what type of openings you have in terms of your departments, but also what type of candidates or RNs are you looking for specifically for those units? As we know, different units require different unique talents from our RNs. So let's go ahead and start with Anuradha, if that's okay. Would you like to go ahead and share with us, please, if you have any openings, what those are, and what type of candidates you're looking for?
Hi. Yes, so I know for ICU, we have some openings in the night shifts. Last I heard, Kelly did mention, my manager, that for ICU side, we are pretty much full, but for night shift, we are looking for nurses. And same is for our ICC side. We are building the team. We still have a couple of openings. I don't know the exact numbers. I'm so sorry. And but yes, the candidate we are looking for, we are welcoming our GNs. We do take PCU nurses who are, interested to work in ICU. That little spark that we are looking for is having that moment in ICU, in that stressful situation, and then keeping your calm. When things go crazy, sometimes people, they get nervous, they lose focus. So when we interview nurses, this is some of the questions we ask them that, okay, tell me, how do you process? How do you handle a stressful situation? Let's say you have two very, very critical patients, but one need more attention than other. How do you prioritize? So we do ask them those technical questions, but in general, we ask them some, of course, behavioral question, like aptitude questions, just to see personality wise, how do they fit in as a team member in a team. Especially we have team members from different culture, different ethnic group. So we want to make sure that we get along well. So yeah, we do have those questions, and we, as they answer, we listen to them. We see if there is any, you can see those candidates who has that spark, that potential, and we know that they are hitting the right answers. They are giving us a good feedback, and that's what we are mostly looking into, for the candidates.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Anuradha. And I know that for not just our ICU, but also our PCU, med-tele, med-surg units, we definitely have training positions as well. So for our participants out there, we are definitely looking for ICU experienced RNs. That would be fantastic. But we also welcome those RNs who may have PCU level experience, who can go into a critical care training program that we have.
Yes.
And we also have those who may be working at a rehab or a nursing home, who may want to shift into a hospital setting. We
Yes.
have those programs, which are, it's called TTAC, or transition to transition to acute care nursing. So we definitely have those opportunities for you as well. And if you are someone who is thinking about that and going, wait, I work at an outpatient facility right now, or I work at a non-hospital setting right now, it's okay. Come join us at East Orlando on Monday and interview with all these incredible nurse leaders, because that's the great thing about the hiring event to our participants, is that once you're there, you're able to provide or receive the guidance from our clinicians themselves and the leaders themselves to let you know what steps you may need to take to be able to launch your career in a hospital setting. Thank you for that, Anuradha. And I wanted to go ahead and let Christy share now with us what type of openings you have for the ED, and also what type of candidates you're looking for.
Sure. So we have several openings at East, and we have some at Lake Nona and Waterford, our freestandings. For our two freestandings, our main hiring goal is for experienced nurses, experienced ER nurses. Those, we like to have at least 1 to 2 years experience at those locations, because we kind of look at them like they're kind of on an island, right? They're not, they don't have the entire hospital behind them physically. But we are open to experienced nurses, new grads. We are also having many openings for paramedics and EMTs. And the types of candidates we're looking for, it's all about attitude, and it's all about, if you come with the right attitude, it's going to work for you. You have to be a little bit adaptable, and you have to be flexible in today's healthcare world. But the right attitude is what's going to get you the farthest.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us, Christy. So absolutely, to our participants, as you heard Christy mention, that's something that for the ED that they're looking for in terms of the freestanding. So we do need experienced RNs for that. But then for the inpatient at the hospital, we are open to all the training candidates as well. And I will say too, as a recruiter for RNs, and I've been doing this for going on 9 years, it's such a blessing to me. It's such an honor to be able to serve not only our clinical leaders, but also our RNs who are thinking about joining Advent Health, because it's in line with our mission. As we always speak about extending that healing ministry of Christ, that's something that you can do as an RN every day, not just to the patients and their families, but also to our team, because that we live by that mission within our teams, not just with how we give our patient care. And I myself am not an RN, to all those who are watching, but my parents both are. And they're retired now, but praise God for that. And I always say that whenever I meet, or I have the honor and privilege of serving a nurse leader or being able to be in touch with an RN. I always say thank you for all that you do because you are all incredible. So I wanted to go ahead and jump to Christine and Carrie Ann. I know that for Christine with imaging and the specialized services, it may be a bit different when it comes to what you're looking for in an RN, as well as Carrie Ann. I'm not sure, Carrie Ann, after Christine goes, if you'd like to share if you have any type of openings within the departments that you lead. But Christine, go ahead and share with us, please, regarding imaging and radiology.
Love to. So we, in the RN or in the nursing area, we have our imaging nursing department as well as our cath and IR. So we hire in the cath IR, we hire nurses as well as in our post and pre-recovery areas. So those are the areas for the nursing that we're hiring for, also in our stress lab as well. We're really looking for somebody with a positive attitude, somebody that really has that heart and soul. You know, training is training. You can train on the skill, but it's that the people part of it that we really like to make sure that we're making those connections. So like Christy said, you know, if you've got that right attitude and you're willing to be a little bit flexible with our day and age now, we would love to have you on the team. Like I said, this is an amazing team to work for, whether it's leadership or the team themselves, it's a great place to be.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Christine. And Christine, just so our participants are aware too, for the candidates that you're looking for, especially for cath lab and for IR or for imaging, are you looking for someone who is at least PCU level experience or greater, or are you open to, or is it your team open to?
They're open. They're open. We're willing for them to get the training that they need when they come in. But we have different levels and different areas that they can be in. So just whatever we have, we're welcome.
Excellent. Wonderful, Christine. Thank you for sharing that. So to our participants who may have imaging or radiology or cardiovascular services experience, please come join us on Monday, the 24th at East Orlando. We would be happy to meet with you, and Christine and team will be there to be able to just meet with you and see where you would like to go. In terms of Carrie Ann's team, would you like to share with us what openings, if any, and if no openings right now, what you are looking for in the future, please?
I think Anu did a wonderful job. She talked a little bit about the critical care services and the ICC, and the same as Christy. You know, we take kind of all levels here in the main building, and we're wonderful and take opportunity for nurses to grow. I would like to give a shout out to my other DON that's not here. So Yolanda Lord Cole, she has all the Med-Tele service lines and medical units, and they are just doing wonderful things up there. We've got a podiatry program here. We're working on our orthopedic service line. So those nurses that are going into the Med-Tele are really having fun with different specialties, working hard as a team there. They're creating some great stuff. So we are looking for, once again, nurses that are eager to, whether they're experienced in Med-Tele and want to come and share their knowledge as preceptors and charge nurses and work towards leadership, or whether they're newer nurses that would like to experience that Med-Tele kind of area. And we have a couple of big units and we have a couple of smaller units, and each one of them is very unique, and you would get the opportunity to come and meet with the leaders to see which would be a great fit for you. So wanted to give a shout out to our Med-Tele because they do some really great work there.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carrie Ann. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Yolanda is fabulous. And our recruiter counterpart, her name is Carolyn. She is a rock star, and she is the one who works with, I know, directly with Yolanda as well in Med-Tele. So thank you for that shout out. And to our participants, as you can hear from our nurse leaders, our clinicians, our clinical leaders here with us today, that the team at East Orlando is just very, not only family oriented, but it's a growth oriented campus, definitely, that the leaders care about all the RNs, all those frontliners, as our leaders mentioned, and they listen to what you have to say. And that family at East Orlando works together for the better of not just patient care, but the team in general. So thank you for sharing that, Carrie Ann. And Lydia and Julie, if you'd like to add anything else, please go ahead at this point.
I would just say, so as Chief Nursing Officer, I represent all things nursing at East Orlando, any place that we have nurses. And I can say that if you are an RN interested in working at Advent Health East Orlando, we have a place for you. That's the beauty of the diversity, the different service lines, the growing service lines that we also have coming here to East Orlando. So, you know, we will meet you where you are because there is a program and a place for you. What we look for is a fit with our mission. Because as you heard early on, that is paramount to all of us. That is who we are. And so we look for team members to join us that share the same vision and values that we do.
Excellent. Thank you, Lydia. And Julie, if you'd like to add something to that.
What I would say is come with your passion, tell us what you're looking for, and we will find a place for you.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So you heard it right here, to our participants. Please let your family, friends who may be RNs know, who may be interested, to just come on over and join us on Monday, the 24th at Advent Health East Orlando for this event. We look forward to seeing you all. Now, for our clinicians here, our clinical leaders, I'd like to go ahead and sort of shift a little bit in terms of our RNs who are looking for jobs right now. We do hear from the talent acquisition side about wanting to know about work-life balance. And of course, as we all know, our jobs are very important, but our families are important as well. And I know that RNs, many of the RNs are moms, dads, or grandparents who may be looking for that work-life balance. And that's something that we know is very important to everyone. And I'd like for all of us to just touch on that really quickly. So I'd like to go ahead and start with Christy first, please. Christy, how is that work-life balance achieved? And what does your team do in order to have your team members achieve that in your department?
So work-life balance is probably one of the most important things for me personally, and what I like to kind of convey to my team. Advent Health is going to be what you make of it, right? There are so many opportunities to pick up extra shifts, and sometimes we have to kind of put the brakes on and say, okay, so maybe not 5 shifts this week. Let's go 3 or 4 shifts this week. You look a little tired. So it's all about personally being able to identify what I need to do this week and what I need to be able to handle, because there's, it's like for my team in particular, I try not to bother them when they're home. I really want to try to give them that time away. But coming from someone who didn't used to know work-life balance, and I'm learning it as I go, everything that I kind of do for myself, I try to convey on my team. But it's really just about knowing people's limitations and knowing your own limitations, and not overdoing it in a week, because there's plenty of opportunity to overdo it. And we just have to have each other's backs and watch each other and make sure that we're all okay, basically.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Christy. And that's definitely something, as you mentioned, that I also learned here at Advent Health. And I think that that's encouraged at Advent Health. And that's one of the reasons why I love Advent Health so much, is that that is something that our leaders tell us, if you need to take that time, because we all know that we cannot give whole care to our patients if we are not whole ourselves. And I think that that's something that is a very important thing at Advent Health for all those participants who are watching. You always hear, perhaps if you've seen an ad of ours, or if you've been on our website, you'll see whole care given to patients. So that's mind, body, and spirit. And that's something that's not just for the patients that our clinicians take care of. That's also for us, for each other. And if you'd like to, Christine, go ahead and share with us as well for your specific department, how that is achieved in terms of the work-life balance.
Yeah, absolutely. So work-life balance is something that has, as we all know, has been so difficult through COVID and through these years, but really helping the team to love themselves first. The organization offers so many opportunities, whether it's coaching or classes, for that whole care of ourselves. But like you said, you can't care for our patients until we care for ourselves, and really giving them the opportunity to do that. And it's not just, like you said, the physical, but the mind, body, and spirit together that is one, and the organization encourages that, and we encourage that. And it's hard days when we're short-staffed and things like that. But like Christy said, we have to watch out for each other. We watch out for the team, making sure they're not taking on too much. There's just a lot of components that as leaders that we're doing, but as teammates, they're really looking out for each other too. So yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. Yes. So I'm seeing in the chat as well some questions about whether there are openings that are not RN related. Absolutely. So Charlene, if you'd like to go visit our website, our career site that is, and also Lynette was asking about that. You all can definitely go on our career site, and we encourage you to do that and just peruse through the openings, because we do have openings that are not just RNs as well. And thank you both for joining us today. And I wanted to go ahead and shift to, as Christine mentioned earlier, in terms of especially with COVID, when the pandemic hit, that was a plot twist that none of us expected. And praise God that we are sort of seeing the tail end of it and we're recovering from all of that. But that was a really big part that I personally saw for me at Advent Health, to our participants, that where I was taken so well cared of, and I did not fear about losing my job. And I know that other companies, I would hear already, they were cutting employees and everything. And that was something that my leaders never made me feel that I needed to worry about. And I know that that's a result of what our organization is all about. So I wanted to ask our leaders here, specifically Anuradha and Julian, Lydia, and Karen, if you'd like to add on as well. What was the experience of having or being in that pandemic life for your teams? And how were you able to provide that morale boost that they may have needed, especially during the pandemic, and now that we are recovering from that pandemic? Anuradha, if you'd like to start with that, please.
Yeah, sure. So yes, during the pandemic, actually, I was still working bedside, so I was part of the team. But yeah, I can tell you, it was a very, very stressful situation. Nobody ever prepared us for that. And the pandemic is something we just read about in books, but we never actually worked through it. And we were frontliners. We were exhausted every day at work. It was not something that anyone can prepare us. But I'll tell you, we had enough breaks, like, okay, we have a lot of assignments, the unit is busy, but there was time when our leaders, managers from other units will come and help us turn the patient, because we are exhausted proning the patient for like 13, 14 patients we had a rounding team or a turning team, which will come around and help us turn. So it takes some of the load off. But otherwise as well, of course, we were working overtime, but the time we had at home, we were make sure that nobody was again, bothering us with the calls, and we had our time off. So we had that life and work balance. But yeah, pandemic was, I saw it, of course, from the front line, how exhausting and how stressful it was. But I'm thankful to my team and of course my leaders that they rounded every day, sometime multiple times in a day, and to check on us that if we need anything. The hospital, of course, they provided us with lunches to make sure that we are well fed, and kept us in good spirits. So yeah, it was a very good experience. And I have worked in many hospitals before, out of states, and I can tell you that the management here is really good, especially at East Orlando, because yes, I did move from our main campus. So I did see the difference, that the leaders were very, very involved, and they did whatever best they can, of course, for the team, and made us feel that they are in this together. We never felt that we are not getting the help that we wanted. So yes, we went through it together as a team, and we always look out for each other. The experience was just too great. Yeah, it was just too good. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Anuradha.
Mm.
And I'm not sure if Julie or Lydia or Kieran would like to add on something to that.
So yes, I would love to say that I was very proud to work for Advent Health. The fact that we had no reduction in force when it first began made it made me proud, even when I would go to the grocery store and see people and they would ask me about it. And that was one of the first things that I would say. I'd say also teamwork. It was amazing. From the emergency room, they would have nurses who would come and help us. We had nurses that would go and help them. It was not just within our own team, but it was across the whole department. The food, our C-suite made sure that our nurses were very well fed. They were present on our units. Our staff know our leadership and our CNO and president by name. I think a lot of institutions can't say that. And I'd also say that although we did lose some people to traveling, I now see a lot of those people returning. So that speaks volumes as well. So I was very proud to work here through the pandemic.
Thank you, Julie. Lydia?
And I just want to add, I'm going to echo what's already been said, but, COVID is past, but the effects are still with us and still with us as nurses, healthcare givers, and society in general. And so we recognize that. So Advent Health, again, is living its mission and has various supports available, whether it be financial, maybe mental health counseling. We actually have a full-time mental health counselor dedicated here just to East Orlando, and she's very active with our team members. Just all kinds of different resources that we continue to have in play, which is really part of our total, it's our team member promise. It's to keep everybody whole, not just at work, but we recognize that you're more than just a nurse. You're a mom, you're a sister, you're a spouse, all of that. And so I think that through the pandemic, couldn't be prouder of Advent Health, but afterwards as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Lydia. And Carrie Ann?
Yeah, I echo what everyone said. It was a very tough time during the pandemic. And to Lydia's point, you know, we had our chaplains and everybody rounding every day and making sure that everyone had their wholeness taken care of. We offer some wonderful benefits and classes and really looking at that whole person. The other piece from a personal perspective is we had a lot of team members that had family members admitted, myself being one of them, and the level of care when everyone stepped up to, not that we don't do that for every patient, but to look after that team member when their loved one was in the hospital was incredible. And I can speak from personal experience that I've never felt so loved and cherished by my team as I tried to care for my mother too as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Carrie Ann. So to our participants, as you've heard our clinical leaders mention, in terms of the benefits of working at Advent Health, and especially at East Orlando too, it's just too many to mention, but just wanted to review that with you really quickly to our participants and to our RNs who may be trying to figure out, okay, do I want to go with Advent Health or another organization? So right away, as soon as you start with us, your benefits are immediate for you and for your family. And you will be able to get in terms of the retirement if you choose to, or PDO starts right away. It starts accruing at a percentage as soon as you start with us. We have also, as Lydia mentioned earlier, the PEP program, which is the Professional Excellence Program that we have. And that's something that you are most welcome to ask during the hiring event if you'd like more information about, because as we know that development and growth in our careers are important. And as well as the educational assistance program that we have at Advent Health, that we can definitely speak with you about more when you join us on Monday. And I wanted to also ask to our leaders in terms of our participants who are getting ready, preparing themselves for this. A lot of the questions that we get in talent acquisition is one, in terms of the attire, what should they wear? Should they be wearing suits and ties? Should they be wearing scrubs? And what we always share with them as talent acquisition is go with whatever you're most comfortable with in terms of whether it's a scrub suit. If you're coming from work, that's okay. Come join us in your scrub suit if you need to. If not, you can also change into business attire if you'd like. But as our leaders mentioned earlier, the most important thing is to bring your who you are. Just to show us who you are, your positivity, and a good attitude, just like any other team. In terms of advice from each of you, if you could give one advice to our candidates who may be thinking about joining us, just one, what advice would that be? And let's go ahead and start with Christy for this one.
So for one, Christy or Christine, sorry, go ahead, Christine.
Sorry, Christy.
No, you first, Christine, you're good.
Okay. So the one advice I would give is that you are on camera. A lot of our interviews are virtual, so just remember that you are on camera, so be aware of your background and who's in your background. So that would be the one advice I would give.
That's good advice. Thanks, Christine. Absolutely. And Christy, what advice would you like to give? If you could give one advice only.
Proofread your resume. Proofread. I can't say that enough times. Proofread your resume.
Excellent.
It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be, 10 pages. Very simple, but just make it clean and professional and proofread it.
Excellent. Thank you, Christy, for bringing that up too, because we do get a lot of questions about that as well, because there are some RNs who may have extensive backgrounds and they would like to include every single thing. So as Christy said, you heard it from the clinical leader, just make it as long as it's proofread it and make sure that it's accurate and that it's most likely, and correct me if I'm wrong, clinical leaders, but you all would like to see a very streamlined and a very what's the word I'm looking for? Just a very efficient resume that could be one page in length. It doesn't have to be multiple pages. Am I correct? for that one? Excellent.
I think, Sheila, the biggest thing is that we see is if you list there that you've been a nurse in PCU or med surg, as clinical leaders, we know what a nurse does. And if there's anything specific we want to ask about on those floor, we'll ask you during the interview. So you don't have to give me 12 bullet points like you drew blood, you did assessments. I'll ask you specific questions. But I mean, no, my resume looked like that at one point too. So I get that. But just the conciseness makes it much easier to read.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Christy. Absolutely. So to our participants, please go ahead and do that. And as Christy mentioned, if you worked at a PCU level unit, for example, or an ICU level unit, or even med-surg or med-tele, please also specify what type of specialty, if any, for that. Because as we know, there are many, many different kinds of PCU level units. There are many kinds of ICU level units, etc. That's good advice. Carrie Ann, what is your one advice you could give to our participants?
Well, I always think about interviewing as we're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing us, right? It has to feel like a great fit for you. So I would say, bring your questions. We love it. Make them hard for us, and we will answer anything you want. And it's really nice if someone said, I'd love to go and see the unit, or can I see the culture? If there's anything you want, just ask us, because that really is your opportunity. We already know that East is wonderful, but that gives you an opportunity to see how you would fit with us. And I really enjoy talking about the wonderful things here and answering all of your questions. So please really know that it's a good fit for you and ask all those questions.
Excellent. Thank you, Carrie Ann. Lydia, what advice would you give to our candidates?
I think, the doors are wide open for you to come learn about us. And I think, keep an open mind. And even if you've worked in one area for some time, maybe you want to change, come meet all of us. We're all going to be here on Monday. And so I think it's just a great time to explore all the avenues. And it's like I said, we'll meet you where you are. We know where those avenues are and how to bring you in and help you continue to grow here at AdventHealth.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And Julie, your advice?
I would say, let us know what your end game is, because we can plan. Maybe you want to be a nurse practitioner, and maybe you want to be an ICU nurse, and you're maybe scared you're not ready to go right into ICU. We can grow you. We work really well as a DON team. And if you tell us what the end game is, we will get you a path.
Excellent. Thank you. And Anuradha, your one advice, please.
Yes, so I would like to just echo what everyone else said, but yes, just come relaxed, have like a very, very, calm preparation, I would say. And yeah, just don't stress about it. Like, have the open-minded, that vibe, and then have those questions ready for us. And yeah, of course, yeah, just stay stress-free, I would say. Breathe. Right.
I like that advice, Anuradha. Thank you so much. So you've heard all those very, very wise pieces of advice from our clinical leaders to our participants. Go ahead and take that and run with it. I was going to say too to our participants that, as Carrie Ann mentioned earlier, even though you are being interviewed by our clinical leaders and the different departments that you're interviewing for, you are definitely also trying to see if that's a good fit for you. We always say at Talent Acquisition that if you place an incredibly talented RN in the right area, right department, then they will grow and flourish, as our clinical leaders have already shown you. So that is something that's very important. And those are great pieces of advice. So to our clinical leaders, we do have here some questions, and I'm not sure who can answer this one, but there is. Chris asks, could you talk about operating room needs? Who would like to, or please kindly address that if there are any OR needs or procedural needs?
I can take that one.
Okay, thank you, Lydia.
We'd be happy to speak with you. And I say that we have some opportunities currently, but even looking towards the future, we're very excited here in the very near future to be bringing some more orthopedic surgery here to East Orlando, and also vascular surgery in our future as well. So with the growth of programs, and that's just two examples in the OR space, both on the acute inpatient side and also our ambulatory center, which is just across the street from us. So I encourage you to please seek us out, come visit us. Certainly, look at the job openings, and if you don't see a match, reach out to us anyway, is what I would say.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Lydia. So as you heard to our participants, if you have any type of questions, that is, of course, something that might be able to be answered by our clinical leaders, and they surely will, please come join us on Monday, the 24th at Advent Health East Orlando for our hiring event. Now, there is also a question here, and I'm not sure whom of our clinical leaders would like to answer this question, but it has to do with work shifts. So what are some of the advantages / pros of working night shift? So that's one important question. We do have definitely full-time days, full-time nights openings, and that's an important question to ask. Who would like to answer this question? Carrie Ann, if you'd like to start, please.
Sure. So when I was a bedside nurse, I loved working the night shift as well as the day shift. But night shift is a little different. You have quite a lot of autonomy there on the night shift. The day shift, there's a lot of routine. You learn a lot from the physicians and MDRs. And then on a night shift, it's a little different in the sense of you rely really on your team together to make those kind of decisions and learn how to really prioritize, how to use the pieces of resources that we have in the building, such as rapid response teams and things like that. I was really lucky. We went live with our new EMR, Epic, and I got to work with the night team during that. And then we've just recently had a hurricane, and I was lucky to work with the night team on that. And they are such a great bunch of people that they learn so much from each other. So the day shift's wonderful, but I do love the camaraderie on nights. And it's hard, but a lot of parents like it because they can get up in the afternoon to pick their children up from school and do after school events. So when you were talking about work-life balance, sometimes that night shift is really, really good for that as well. And I just wanted to add, I didn't get an opportunity before when you talked about what Advent Health does for you. I have been super impressed with all of the support we have given our team members that have been hit by the hurricane. And so we have several at East that have lost their homes, that have lost their cars, and we all came together as a team to look after. And we had another area of Advent Health that got hit with the floods, and we've been able to, we have a Hope Fund here for them. We have other resources as well as mental health. And to me, that's looking after the whole of them. Our love of you doesn't start when you come on shift and end when you finish shift. It's about your families. It's about your home life. How can you dedicate yourself in your own mind when you come to work if home is not doing so well for multiple reasons? So I just wanted to add that piece into it because I felt that was really important. But shift work, it really is what matches your home life balance. And if you're in school, can you do your schoolwork at different times? So it depends, and we will help you work through that. And if you come on a night shift and it doesn't work, we're very amenable to trialing different kind of shifts for you and seeing what fits for you and your family.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carrie Ann. Absolutely. And thank you for bringing up Ian, of course, the hurricane that we just went through Central Florida, all of Florida. And also for just pointing out, Carrie Ann, that just in case for those RNs out there who may think, okay, I've been working full-time nights my whole entire life, I guess I'm going to go into full-time nights. And if that changes, that's something that your leaders will be able to work with you, whether it's full-time days to full-time nights, vice versa. And I know there are other departments within Advent Health East Orlando who may be able to also work things out for you or with you. And that's the great thing about Advent Health East Orlando, is because it truly is a family, and the departments work very closely with each other, and the leaders know exactly what's going on and care about what's going on. And that's what the difference is with Advent Health East Orlando. So we wanted to share here with you, to our leaders. I'm not sure if you saw, but Sharika did ask, good morning, what is the best suggestions for a job in Advent Health? So Sharika, that really definitely depends on your expertise. What is your experience like? And as I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to go ahead, and we encourage you to go on our career site and take a look at what openings we may have. And if you still have other questions, we encourage you to go on our social media websites as well, because you can ask questions there, as well as ask questions here on our chat right now. And so thank you for joining us. And if you have questions, just let us know, and we'd be happy to answer those questions for you, okay? For Sonia, thank you. Sonia, I'm not sure if the team was able to read this, but Sonia did say, I just want to say I'm not in the nursing field, but this has been a beautiful experience listening to everyone on this panel. Kudos to our incredible clinical leaders. It says, first, kudos that this is a faith-based company. I love the freedom of being able to express your beliefs. You all are beautiful panelists of women, and I pray God's blessings over you all. Amen. Praise God for that. Thank you, Sonia. So Sonia, thank you for bringing that up, because as we mentioned earlier, you heard, or you may have heard our clinical leaders mention earlier on our discussion, is that our mission truly is what separates us from all other organizations who are also great. But we here at Advent Health live by our mission, and that's extending the healing ministry of Christ. So whenever, especially the talent acquisition team, we are the gatekeepers, when we have our RNs, or not just RNs, all the non-clinicians out there who try to join our Advent Health family, we welcome you because we are bringing back God's people to him. That's what it is. And at Advent Health, you are a leader in that sense. No matter what position you are, environmental services, up to the clinicians and everything else in between, we all have that responsibility and that honor and privilege to be able to lead people, God's people, back to him. And that's also how you touch your patients and their families and each other. So I wanted to go ahead and close our discussion today by first thanking our incredible and talented nurse leaders on this call. Thank you all so much for giving a bit of your time. We know how jam-packed your schedules are all the time. And we appreciate and are so grateful to you for giving that love to our clinicians out there, the frontliners, who are always they're fighting not just the COVID and the after COVID, but everything that we go through as a community. And we appreciate you all very much. And thank you to all of our participants who have joined us today. Thank you for asking your questions. We are so excited to see you next Monday, this coming Monday, the 24th at Advent Health East Orlando. And please do share this information that you've gleaned today with your families and friends and anyone else who may be interested in joining our Advent Health family. I wanted to go ahead and say again as a reminder for all our participants, if you're interested, please sign up to join our upcoming East Orlando hiring event. That's this coming Monday. And we also have a short video that we would like to share with you right now before this ends officially. And this is a video that shows us what it means to be an Advent Health employee.
You deserve a place that understands the depth of your service. A place that knows you can't care for someone else wholly unless you're feeling whole yourself. We see you, the whole you. We see your life beyond these walls. That's why we promise to care for you physically, mentally, and spiritually. We promise competitive pay and paid time off from your very first day. We promise to grow your skills with career development in some of the most advanced facilities in the country. We promise to nurture your growth with debt-free education. And we promise to cultivate an inclusive environment and a network of opportunity. Because when you feel whole, we build a stronger community together. Learn more about joining our team and the actions we're taking for our team members at joinadventhealth.com.
Thank you again to everyone, and special to our participants. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Again, that's the 24th, October 24th, Monday. And it's between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So sorry about that. I did see a question earlier on the chat. My apologies to the participant. It starts at 9 a.m. and it ends at 3 p.m. So we welcome you. Please come join us, ready with your questions, ready to just share with us your journey as an RN so far. And we hope that you can be a part of our Advent Health East Orlando family soon. Thank you all so much.